Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today in Quarantine. My name is Renee Cross. I'm your host, coming to you live from Lincoln, Nebraska, where the corn is high. Not yet; it's only May, but the corn is planted, and the dirt is still brown and in the ground. Welcome back to our show today. Today in Quarantine. Let's see, man, it's been 24 hours or something. Yeah, today in quarantine, more meetings, more end of the year stuff. It's crazy how quickly this end of the year thing is coming. The one thing that we actually had our last PLC meeting today, which was just like, wow, this happened. So yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to be a part of that. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, we're wrapping things up. I actually did kind of get a update on my email address, which if you were watching yesterday, you heard that I thought my email was going to be like done after I gave him my computer at the end of next week. I actually get 30 days after that for my email to be done. 30 days afterwards, my email is gotten rid of. So there you go. Got working things out before I even think about them. But definitely it's worked out, and it's worked out a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. So there you go. So yeah, lots of emails and grading. Talked to a friend for a little bit. It was good. It's been a good day. We're also just in a meeting with Camp Akita staff, and that is a camp that I normally work at. It's in Illinois, if you ever want to check it out. In Camp Akita is actually going to be we're going to try to run camp this summer. And there's so many things that go into that, but we're going to try. We're going to see what we can do. And by the grace of God, we'll be able to do something. So yeah, it'll be exciting, and we'll start that. It won't be our normal time, but it will be later on in July, and just kind of mostly for the month of July. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive, I guess. Just figuring stuff out. It's going to be very different. We are giving grades. My mom said grading. I thought you were not giving grades. We are giving grades, but it's pass fail instead of like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's satisfactory versus unsatisfactory. So I still do have to like give them assignments and grade them and see how well they did and give feedback. So yeah, it's a very it's an interesting process for sure. So today on the show, I'd like to talk a little bit about a series that I recently watched on Hulu. It's called Little Fires Everywhere. Little Fires Everywhere. It is a show that's based off of the book of the same name, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. And I always mess up this name, but I think it's NG, but it's spelled NG. I'm not sure how to say it. I'll have to look that up. And she wrote this book. I haven't read the book, but after seeing the series, definitely need to read the book. It's about a Black single mother who's an artist, and she and her daughter move into a predominantly white town, but it's famously the first town to be integrated. And so it's kind of their journey through this town, and with her landlord, and who is white, and her children, her 4 children, the landlord's 4 children and husband. And it's a crazy, I can't say much more than that because that would literally just ruin the entire show. So go watch it, check it out. It really takes a good dive into racial relations. It takes place in the 90s, actually. It's a good talk about racial relations, and like the difference between poor and rich, people's priorities in life, just different things. It's crazy. It's called Little Fires Everywhere. Little Fires Everywhere, and yeah, I showed it to a friend, and it's only about 8 episodes long, about an hour for each episode. and she, yeah, pretty much watched it within a very short amount of time. And was absolutely astounded at the production of it, because it's such a good show, and you don't see anything coming. Yeah, like I said, I can only give you the bare minimum premise of the show, or else I'd give everything away. But go check it out. Very interesting show, very worth your time, I believe. And then when you've watched it, let me know and we can talk about it, because like I said, it's a great conversation starter. I'd like to have a conversation about it with anybody. It also has Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon as the two main actresses. So they are great actresses and worth your time for sure. So yeah, so check that out. Let me know what you think. The one thing I'll say about it is that it grabs you from the beginning, but you're like, okay, the first episode you might think to yourself, okay, what's going on? But I watched the first episode with that friend that I suggested it to, and as I watched it again, my mind was blown because of all the details that are going into just the first episode that you never realize are significant until way later. So yeah, enjoy that. All right. Today's weather, it's been mostly cloudy today. But I haven't actually been outside, but the sun is starting to come out just a little bit. The brick wall outside on my neighbor's house looks a little bit brighter today, so that's fun. So yeah, I'm gonna get outside later this afternoon and get on my bike and bike around a little bit, because I haven't done that in a while. So yeah. Andrew says it's cool your camp is going to try and stay open. Mine and several I know have canceled. Yeah, we are just kind of dancing on some coals here and just seeing what we can do, because even in discussions we're just like, oh, what will happen with this aspect, with that aspect, if we're in this stage, will we still have it, how many kids can we have in a cabin, type of thing. So it's a very interesting setup that we have to try and do. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that all turns out. Who knows? Honestly, everything is up in the air. As we were talking about the end of the school year in our PLC meeting this morning, our supervisor was like, yeah, we don't know how it's going to be. It's very possible that we could all just be back to normal at the end of the summer and be all together in the school year. But excuse me. It's also very possible that we might have an alternating schedule. So like 5th graders come in on one day and 4th graders come in on another day. And we just have to flip back and forth so that we don't have as many people in the building, which is wild to me. I've been seeing these little videos on Facebook of people or little kids going to school in China, and they have these entire hand washing, sanitization setups and all that. And then they have, I think in China, they all had masks over, not like the N95, but face shields type of thing that they wore as part of their school uniform. So it's going to be a very different world when we reopen up the world, and see what that looks like soon. But the good news is for music teachers is that the people are always like, oh yeah, well, wind instruments, we're constantly blowing into stuff and whatever. And so people were afraid that you could spread coronavirus through wind instruments. There was a study that was done, and actually wind instruments don't actually spread the germs as much as you may think, because as you're blowing hot air or air into your instrument, it goes down through a tube and it slows down. And so there's minimal of oxygen or any gas really that's released from your instrument. The only exception to this is the flutes, because flute players blow directly across. I'm gonna put it right here. Flute players blow direct. They don't blow into their instrument. They actually just kind of blow across the hole. So As you can see, I'm not blowing into the hole, I'm just blowing across it. Not going like that. So that would be our one concern as flute players. But, they sit at the front of the class, so they won't be in too much distance. And most flute players are holding it like this, so they're far apart from each other. Yeah, it'll be all right. The one concern is singers, because singers are opening their mouths and blowing faster air into the air than just normal people talking, because they're projecting, and so they're all standing together, and so it'll be very interesting to see how that happens. My mom asked the question, do you think we would need to do staggered scheduling at CVA? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, casually. I had a Zoom lesson I had a Zoom class today, and I've been having these Zoom hours, and people. I mean, I've had these 3 students who've consistently showed up. And on Tuesdays, it's usually just 2 of them, but today another one showed up, and so we actually did some playing and figured out how to play the Star Wars theme together. It was great. So it was interesting. Andrew also says, yeah, our school has talked about having some classes meet on different days, so we don't have all students in the building at once. And I think that's probably a realistic expectation. It'll be very interesting to see, like I said, how the world plays out after this, because it's just a crazy world right now. That's all that it is. It's a crazy world. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Well, today we are bringing back the dad jokes. So let me pull up some laugh tracks, if you would. I saw a really good one today. I think I saved it. Plot twist. I did not save it. So definitely need to save my jokes because that's important. All right. So today's first joke. What weighs more, a gallon of water or a gallon of butane? It's the water, because butane is a lighter fluid. Just give me a second here. No, that's all right. All right. Thank you. I'll be here all day. All summer. Oh boy. All right. A slice of apple pie is $2.50 in Jamaica and $3 in the Bahamas. These are the pie rates of the Caribbean. Somebody said, my wife tried to unlatch our daughter's car seat with one hand and said, how do one-armed mothers do it? And without missing a beat, I replied, single-handedly. Due to all these online deliveries, some of these companies have decided to join forces. So FedEx and UPS are merging, and it's just gotten to the point where they had to do this, and they're actually naming themselves Fed Up. You know what? Actually, and Adam told me that joke, and I just can't trust them because they make up everything. Why did the Invisible Man turn down the job offer? Well, he just couldn't see himself doing it. Let's see. All right. Why did the Scarecrow, last one for today, I promise. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. No, it's okay. It's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining me today on Today in Quarantine, and we hope that you'll join us tomorrow for another episode of Today in Quarantine. Oh my goodness, it's been 54 episodes, and I'm still messing up this outro. Thank you for joining us today in quarantine. We hope you join us tomorrow in quarantine for another episode of Today in Quarantine. Still messed that up. That's all right. I'll try again tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands, and we'll see you tomorrow.